Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And what a weird day this morning for the weather. It's not cold, it's a little bit windy, it's just a little bit dull and hazy. The skies, there's no colour. There's no colour in the skies, and you can probably see this on the video. Hoping that this sort of low cloud is not going to herald anything. I'll wait and see what the lovely Amanda's weather forecast has to say on that subject. But at the moment, I'm not if you're hearing this, but it's a little bit windy at the moment, blowing, but nothing really strong in the way of the wind. But it's just a little bit unsettled, to be quite honest. Anyway, big shout out to Barry and also Alf that are tuning in at the moment. Nice to see you looking in, fellas. So looking towards Laguna and also towards Kalamaki on this side of the building. The sun is obviously trying to fight its way through. You can obviously feel it's a little bit more windy on this side. But again, it's just that after yesterday, because yesterday was absolutely glorious, it's just a little bit dull. And again, just not quite the same, is it? I've just noticed the weather forecast from Amanda has gone up, but I can't read it because I can't see it. But I'll have a quick look at that quickly before I start the news. But looking towards Sulaby and that direction, the north of the island, again, just looking a little bit cloudy. Oh, there goes the money for the pensions up the road. Look at him overtaking the tractor, taking the money up to the post office probably. There you go. Anyway, looking up over the hills there, again, just very cloudy and a little bit windy, but I've got to be honest, it's not cold. Right, let's crack on with the weather forecast this morning, first of all, and then I'll crack on with the news because there's been quite a bit going on in the last 24 hours here in Zakynthos and in Greece. So let's have a quick look. I just did see Amanda's weather forecast. Good morning, Ginge. Cloudy with sunshine, wind increasing later in the day. Highs of 22 will feel like 23. Enjoy and have a good day. Thank you for that, my lovely. Right, let's have a look at what's been going on in the last 24 hours here in Greece and also in Zakynthos. Once again, just to remind you that today is the 28th today. It's day 172 of the lockdown, and COVID in the last 24 hours, well, guess what? Infections, I'm afraid, are up. Yesterday, they were at hang on a minute. Listen, I'm going to cut the broadcast here because I think there might be a bit of a mistake. I'll be back in just a short while. Thank you. Right, sorry about that. I confused myself a bit. I thought I'd actually had the wrong date of news, but I've realised all I hadn't done was updated my title at the beginning. Threw me into a bit of a panic because I was sorting out news this morning. So basically, I hadn't annotated the top of my page. It is the 28th of April, all right? It is day 173 of the lockdown. It is Wednesday, and these are the figures for the stats for the last 24 hours. Right, I'm afraid things at the moment are up in the way of infections across Greece. Yesterday, I did report there was 1,317 new infections across the country. That number has risen to 3,313 within the last 24 hours. Now, there were 6 new cases identified after checks into the country. That number is actually down from 7 on the previous report. Now, when it comes to the national stats for infections at the moment, yesterday Macardo had 1 new case. There were no new cases reported in Kefalonia, and there were 6 new cases recorded in Corfu. And we had 5 cases recorded here in Zakynthos on the national statistics. However, looking at the local news and everything else like that, there has been no, so we say, confirmatory information to say that 5 new infections took place. So I have not added those 5 infections to my list. So at the moment, nobody's reporting any infections here locally. So at the moment, that means that Zakynthos has had 520 positive cases since the beginning of the pandemic. And this month alone, cases for the month of April here on Zakynthos has been 174 COVID cases. As for deaths, I'm afraid are also up. On my last report, it was 80 deaths across Greece. Today, it's rised up to 92 new deaths across the country. Again, that brings the death toll now up to 10,179. The average age of those people passing away are 79 years of age. 96% of those had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. And once again, just to remind you that in Zakynthos this last month, we've actually had 4 deaths. An 88-year-old woman, a 65-year-old man, a 75-year-old woman, and an 88-year-old man who passed away over the weekend. So again, our condolences to those families that are affected. Now, when it comes to critical cases at the moment, critical cases have also started to creep up as well. They were down to 811. Well, unfortunately, now they have crept up to 813. 508 of those are male, 305 of those are female. One thing to bear in mind about the critical cases, the ceiling number is 900. That is the amount of beds that Greece has where they're able to cope with people suffering from coronavirus in an incubated state is 900 beds. So at the moment, the number is not quite getting there, but it's a little bit concerning that it seems to be just bubbling at the moment at 813. However, they had been going down up until that point. Had gone down to 811, and then it's just bubbled up again to 813. As for today's news, this will affect people living here on Zakynthos. The Deputy Minister to the Greek Prime Minister, Akis Sorotis, has confirmed that the need to send SMS texts, we have to send a text every time we want to go out somewhere, and there's 6 criteria for the tests. This is likely, likely to be abolished in the first 2 weeks of May. So at the moment, we're still having to text out every time we go somewhere. But this minister is now saying that it may be abolished in the first 2 weeks of May, obviously just before the tourist season is about to kick off. Also as well, controls at the Zakynthos port have been intensified, and as of yesterday, a unit from the Zakynthos Port Authority is now checking embarkation of passengers and doing inspections as well of people going in and going out. And according to Hermes News, the harbour master Evangelos Terotatis said that there is a daily presence now of the Greek Mobile Health, and they are actually carrying out sampling checks with rapid testing of passengers who are getting on and off the ferry. He also said that at the moment the traffic is the same levels as in previous days, and also according to information, fines have already been imposed for violations of the measures for COVID, i.e. the travel restrictions that are on the go at the moment. And so far, there has been no case of citizens being asked to return to Kyllini again. However, in his defence, he's actually said, besides a check that they already make on people going out, there are also checks being made both in Kyllini and both by of KTEL passengers, that's the inter-travel buses, they are being checked obviously, and also passengers who are on cars are being checked either on the roads by police on the mainland or at the ports of Kyllini as part of their journey. So, and then obviously our police here, as they come off the ferries, they're checking them again. But so far, they've not had to turn anybody back. They either had the correct paperwork or the correct reasons to travel, which are that they have work documents to say that they are working, that they're in a professional capacity, or they are a permanent resident returning on a one-time only trip back to the island. People here who've got homes and things like that coming back, obviously, and then staying for the summer. And also another thing as well, which hasn't been mentioned, people who actually work in tourism, they are obviously being allowed to return back to the island. So they are able to obviously come on the ferry and they're not being turned back. But anybody else who's coming just for Easter, yet they are not being allowed entry into the country. And it seems that according to the local port police here, so far they haven't turned anybody back because nobody has basically tried to be clever and tried to come over. So again, interesting story. We'll keep a little eye on that. Now, also in vogue with that, the Greek police have also confirmed that yesterday 26,754 inspections were carried out nationwide. There was a total of 958 violations of the new travel ban. They were confirmed. This also included 8 arrests and 805 fines of €300 being imposed on those people for basically breaking the travel ban of no interregional travel over the Easter period, only for Pacific reasons. Anyway, they said also that on the total number of checks, the most checks were actually carried out at Athens International Airport, where they checked 10,489 people. They didn't say whether they were coming in or whether they were going out, but there were 10,489 checks being conducted there, and they never mentioned whether it was at the airport as they were trying to go to the airport for a flight or whatever. That has not been mentioned. But anyway, 10,000 checks were carried out there alone. Also, again, intensive police checks are still being carried out in the Ionian Islands to prevent the spread of coronavirus. In Corfu, a temporary manager of a cafe bar was arrested and fined €3,000 and also had the business closed for a fortnight because he was found to be serving drinks to 7. Now, they say standing customers, 7 standing customers, but they were inside the business. They were also all fined €300 and they were fined for violation of traffic restrictions. So whether he was serving people after hours or whether these people hadn't booked out with the correct number on their phone, that has not been made clear. But one thing for sure is the police are hot and they're out doing people. Also as well, they're in the last 2 days, from Saturday and Sunday, there were 14 violations in Corfu, 10 in Zakynthos, 8 in Macardo, 6 in Kefalonia for breaking restrictions on movement, i.e. not booking out on your phone or being out after the curfew time, and all of those people have been fined at €300 each. Now, also during the same period, checks were also being carried out by the police to make sure that masks were being worn. There were 7 violations of that in Corfu. There were 3 in Zakynthos, and all of those people were also fined €300 for not wearing masks in public. So again, be aware, the police are out and they are looking to do people and make an example as we get closer to Easter. Anyway, interesting little story in the Greek press. The Indian variant of the coronavirus has arrived in Greece. They said that there's been 2 cases of the mutation that were confirmed in the country in late April. Now, it's still unclear whether the variant spread more quickly or causes more severe cases of the virus than the standard form of the COVID-19. Additionally, it's not yet known how effective vaccines are in preventing the spread of the variant. The variant was first discovered in India in October, and since then it has spread globally, mainly in Europe. Currently, apart from Greece and India, cases of the mutation have been identified in the US, Germany, Belgium, Switzerland, Australia, Singapore and the UK, where 77 cases of the mutation have been recorded. The latest case of an Indian variant was found by a woman who travelled to Dubai. The latest case of this mutation was a foreign-born woman who actually lives in Dubai, who lives in Athens. The 33-year-old woman had travelled to Dubai in April, where her COVID-19 test was required. She required to travel to Greece and then came back as a negative. However, she obviously then turned out that she had the virus. So anyway, again, the Indian virus is obviously here now in Greece. Now, with the planned opening in various sectors of the tourism trade here, Austria now is quite important. They are a very important part of the economy here to Greece. We have a thing called the Summer Academy, a company called SOAC. I've actually done a bit of work with SOAC in the past. They basically run a summer academy, fantastic, where people can come on holiday to Greece, learn a skill, whether it's pottery, art, music, drama, and basically they run these summer camps where people come, pay quite a bit of money for that. And this SOAC has been running here for nearly over 20 odd years. It's been run. Anyway, it seems now that Austria is getting ready. Now, they've actually decided that the mandatory quarantine for travellers from Greece and other European countries is to be lifted with this new regulation that also applies to Austrians returning from these countries. Anyway, as announced today by the Austrian Minister of Health, this relevant amendment to the regulations of entry into Austria, the areas of high frequency of COVID-19 infections are excluded, and the evaluation by the ministry in Vienna is the evaluation also by the European Health Organization as well. Anyway, according to current data, the mandatory quarantine is abolished in Austria from May the 19th for travellers, and that also includes residents of countries such as Greece, Spain and Italy, and of course the country of origin, the largest number of tourists in Austria, which is Germany. So now it looks like the mandatory quarantine is now being lifted. Like Austria, most EU countries are currently in the red under the European Health Organization, and only Finland, Iceland, Portugal and Malta are in green, or they are in orange. And just to let you know, Greece is in the green, all right? However, for travellers from France, Sweden, the Netherlands, Slovenia, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Estonia and Lithuania, the mandatory quarantine upon entry into Austria will continue to apply after the 19th of May. So again, I do know that Austrian people with residency here have been coming back, doing the mandatory quarantine that they have to do, and then obviously testing negative obviously on their journey. So and we are expecting the Austrian market to start here in Zakynthos when the season eventually kicks off. Meanwhile, things going on in the UK at the moment. Meanwhile, COVID passports for UK British holidaymakers to the US, France, Italy and Germany could be in place by June, according to the Daily Mail, as Spain throws open its beaches and Greece will allow Brits to show handwritten NHS cards as a proof of jab. Now, the EU is closing in on a travel deal with the US involving COVID vaccination passports. EU and UK officials are both considering similar schemes for Britain and Europe. Anyway, Grant Shapps, he's the Transport Minister in the UK. He plans to use the G7 conference in Cornwall to set out travel corridors. That's on his agenda. Anyway, he plans to get COVID passport deal with France, Italy and Germany by the end of June. However, Greece says that the NHS vaccination card, your little bit of cardboard that you got when you went for your vaccination, is good enough. And they will still obviously cement that with random testing, and they are saying that is happy from May. So from May, if you've been vaccinated, you can come to Greece on the strength of your vaccination card that you got when you had your injections, as long as you've had 2 doses, all right, and you've got your card, that is good enough, although they will run random testing when you arrive in the country. But the thing is, though, you're still waiting for Boris to say that you can actually leave, and we shall wait and see what happens there as we wait again with bated breath to see what Boris's announcement is going to be. Also, interestingly, the World Travel and Tourism Council, the WTTC, awarded Greece a top international distinction showcasing the country as a global example of the safe opening of tourism in a pandemic. There you go, we've even got an award. Anyway, Greek Tourism Minister Haris Theakis accepted the Global Championship Award for COVID-19 Crisis Management, okay, at the WTTC's annual global conference, which at the moment is being held this year in Cancun in Mexico. The WTCC recognises the immense effort to which employees, entrepreneurs and those involved in the provision of tourism services have contributed to an unprecedented success for Greece. That's what Mr. Thrakis said when he picked up the award. Anyway, he added, we all managed to keep national tourism product alive during a difficult period without precedent. And at the same time, we have managed to keep alive the hope for millions of people around the world, proving in practice that health safety can be achieved and safety can in turn make travel possible, even in a state of siege from the pandemic. So there we go. We've won an award in Greece. We are safe to come. We are in the green as far as the EU is concerned of safe destinations. So again, we should technically have a good season. Boris, pull your finger out, make a decision, open the borders, get rid of the €5,000, £5,000 fine for people daring to try and leave the UK under false pretenses, just so that we can get back to some semblance of normality. Anyway, another little interesting story that came across my path was a television production company behind a reality TV show that was based here in the Peloponnese. They were actually fined €3,000 on Tuesday for violating environmental protection while they were filming an episode on the Peloponnese island of Elbanos. Anyway, the fine was imposed by the Peloponnese Regional Authority following a string of complaints lodged by eco-protection groups after an episode was aired on television on Greek TV on December the 7th. Anyway, in the episode shown, I have no idea what this show was about. Basically, they were showing heavy-duty vehicles driving across, probably four-wheel drive vehicles, driving across the island's protected sand dunes. Now, Elbanos is listed for protection under the Nature 2000 and European legislation, and activities such as those seen in the television programme are strictly forbidden in order to protect species from any disturbance and to preserve breeding and nesting grounds, according to the European Commission. So at the moment, that television company is under investigation. Not only have they been fined they've been fined €3,000, but there's also an ongoing investigation into some of their other activities as well that people are not happy about. Anyway, and finally story, again, it's a nice positive story. Do you fancy being in the movies? Do you want to be a film star? I know Gary's tuning in at the moment. My old Gary Holgate's tuning in. He's a film extra. He's done loads of stuff. Anyway, it seems that up to 18 international movies will be shot in Greece in 2021, confirming that the industry's demand for countries near endless variety of stunning landscapes and monuments are in demand. But also the director of the Hellenic Cinema Centre, Veneveru, said on Friday that the accepted revenues from foreign productions in 2021 could reach €90 million. Anyway, she also added that this foreign interest creates a positive domino effect that will help attract further productions. Berger also claimed, we expect so many productions from spring to autumn 2021 due to the fact that Greece managed its pandemic very successfully. She also highlighted the fact that international interest also was aroused of the continuous presence of Greece in the online international forums and exhibitions abroad. So obviously with all our tourism and that, we were still in the eye of people that thought, oh, we wouldn't mind making a film in Greece. Anyway, she also said we managed to coordinate moves to show that it is possible, even during a pandemic, to shoot movies in Greece. Anyway, Greece has made further improvements to its highly successful 2018 initiative for audiovisual productions, with the aim of making it even more attractive to the foreign filmmakers and more effective for those who are local. Maybe they're going to film My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 actually in Greece. You never know. That would be interesting if they do that. Anyway, also as well, and this is the important thing about when you make movies, it's all about the tax, all right? A new law has been approved last summer which focuses on two issues. First, it's the increase the amount of cash rebates from 35 to 40% of the eligible costs incurred in Greece, in conjunction with a drop in the specific amount of spending, and the second, the simplification of the application process. I think the most important thing is the simplification of the application process, because as you know, filling in a form here in Greece, it's never straightforward and it's never easy. Anyway, they're also changing the minimum spending. That's also been lowered from 30,000 to 25,000 euros per episode for fiction series, and to 20,000 euros for documentary series and animation, with a further drop to 15,000 euros per episode. Now, for any single project which exceeds 70 episodes, but that's obviously television production. Anyway, although certain cultural criteria apply, there is no cap on the budget, which is another major competitive advantage for the Greek incentive scheme compared to those of other countries, because it's all down to about what they can claw back in taxes to save money during the production of the film, that either gets put back into the film itself, in the look of the film, the money spent on props, the money spent on basically all the services that go on when a major movie production rolls into town. They can be very good for the local economy. One of the major problems that Greece does have, however, which is one of the reasons why Netflix has been a little bit edgy about coming to do work here in Greece, and basically using Greece as just a location filming area, is the fact that there is no major film studio here in Greece. Most other European countries, especially Italy, the Czech Republic, also Hungary as well, they all have a film studios infrastructure where film companies can come in and literally shoot on location and then shoot interiors and whatever they require at cheaper prices inside a properly constructed film studio. Now, fortunately, there's two initiatives at the moment going on by a Greek-American businessman who are showing an interest that they may actually start a state-of-the-art film studio here in Greece. There's not too much information on these guys, but that is something that is in the pipeline. And I think if that goes ahead, it'll be brilliant for film production companies. They can come over, shoot on location, and then obviously do interiors and stuff like that. And again, it creates a lot of work for skilled people, carpenters, sculptors, costume makers, to be able to do all of that and to have it all in-house here in Greece would not only be good internationally, but it will also be good locally as well, and also would spur the local Greek film industry further forward. Because to be honest, I don't think the local Greek film industry is as prevalent as what it was back in the 1960s and the 1970s, when there was a height of Greek films being made there that travelled internationally. Zorba the Greek obviously being one, Never on Sunday being another. Those type of films, Greece never seems to have really pushed forward on that. However, there are a lot of Greek film directors. I remember The Favourite, that just won an Oscar a couple of years ago. That was a Greek director. There's a lot of Greeks working within the film industry, but outside of the country. So it might be great, because it might encourage them to come and do some work here in Greece as well. Right, that's it for the news at the moment. Let's just have a quick look at who's looking in at the moment. I do apologise for my little bit of a flap there as to what was going on with my dates. I was up till early this morning writing news again. But anyway, Teresa Ann Huggett is tuning in as well. Alf Ling is tuning in. Emma Marco is tuning in. Tracy Mitchell is also watching as well. Amanda Gregory is watching. Tim Crystal says, morning to you both. Amanda Gregory started laughing. I don't blame you. Oh, I was I couldn't believe what day of the week it was. Andrew the Fridge Watkins is watching. Teresa Ann Huggett is watching. Good morning. Lockdown getting to you now. You will conform. Laugh out loud. Thank you very much for that. Yes, you will conform, as it does get a little bit dark at times, I've got to be honest. Andy Orchard, first line responder, is looking in as well. Paul Green is crying from a wet Manchester at the moment. Bless him. Vicky Lowe is also watching. Andy Johnson is watching as well. Julie White, sad this morning. Sad this morning, our flight was cancelled with TUI for the 21st, hoping to change to the 28th of May. Well, that's interesting because yesterday, while I was out doing some little bits of admin in town, I got talking to three guys who work at the airport. And again, even though they're working at the airport and they're at the centre of the hub of everything, they are still not 100% aware when things are going to kick off and when things are going to start happening at the airport. All they know is they put all the preparation in, but they are still, as workers at the airport, waiting to be told exactly the dates of the first arrivals, exactly when people are coming, because obviously they're going to be there to meet them. So I had a lovely discussion with the three guys there from the airport, telling me about what's been going on. And again, also clearing up a few misconsomas, a few urban myths as well. And basically, but they are still very much in the dark. And it's interesting that you're saying now that TUI for the 21st you're hoping to change your flight to the 28th of May. No official announcement has been made by TUI UK as to what their plan is and how they're going to move forward. Whereas we've had confirmation from TUI Germany and TUI Russia, but nothing from TUI UK at the moment. And again, thanks for that. We'll keep our ears and eyes open on that. Maybe there might be some announcement to come after the Easter holiday is out of the way. Anyway, Derek and Bridget Cole over there in Cyprus, they're tuning in at the moment. Nice to have you looking in. Bernard Loftus up there in Sillevi is also tuning in. The lovely Maria Hallberg over there in Sweden is looking in as well. Rainer Pete Dillon over there in Manchester is looking in as well. And also Shane Bowen up there on Exmoor. He says, Gallimera Ginge from a very wet Exmoor. At least I don't have to wash the car now. Laugh out loud. Thank you very much for that. And also, thank you for your comments. Just to let you know that both the Northern Soul show from last week is up online. Also up online as well is the dance show, which has gone into the trance chart on the Mixcloud charts, which I was really chuffed about that. Last week's dance anthem show is in on the trance chart now. Also as well, you will notice that the new single from Opus that I've been championing in my broadcasts on Wednesdays and Fridays, and don't forget I'm broadcasting this afternoon, that's up online for you to have a look at. I will be playing it in this afternoon show, which is 3 o'clock your time, 5 o'clock my time. Put your requests and dedications in. And Shane, let me know the year that your lovely Pam was born so that I can pop her into the Golden Vault this afternoon. So once again, thank you to Opus for letting me play your new video. The video is actually really funny. And if you know the history of Opus, you and Life is Life, they sort of edited it together with their old video, their new video. So you're trying to work out what is true and what is fake. Absolutely fantastic video and quite funny as well. So again, that's going to get aired this afternoon during my show. Barry Leatherdale is also watching as well. Alf Ling is watching. Carol Wood is watching as well. Nice to see you tuning in, Carol. Christine Lloyd James is watching. Maria Heidelberg says, good morning from a sunny Sweden, +6 today and no snow. Can you believe it? That's her words, not mine. Have a lovely day. Yeah, we will do. Don't worry. The sun is still here for you from Sweden. Hopefully you'll get here soon. Christine Brown says it's raining in Nottingham. Carol Blake is also watching. Is that Carol Blake from Wendover? Nice to have you tuning in as well. Also, Rosewood is watching as well. Dave Coldwell over there, United States of America. He's an American Forces man. He's tuning in as well. Nice to have you tuning in. Also, Dave Cramp is also looking in as well. Oh, he's got some questions here. Let me have a quick look at what's going on. Oh, my God, he's written an essay here. He said, sad to hear that COVID-19 cases are on the increase, hoping that can be controlled and begin to be reduced very soon. Question, with cases being extremely high throughout Europe, how can Greek authorities allow holidaymakers to travel to Greece as well as Zakynthos and placing you residents at risk after all the hard work and restrictions that you have endured? You know I really love living and travelling to Zakynthos, but I do not want to be potentially responsible for placing Zakynthos residents at risk. Right, first of all, let's get this clear. Travellers into the country, you are going to travel here on the understanding that you have been PCR tested before you come. If you haven't had the vaccine, you are tested before you come, and you'll be randomly tested when you arrive. Other people who have had the vaccine and can prove they had the vaccine, they can come over and obviously enjoy their holiday. So again, it's going to be the same as last year. If you think last year we had no vaccine, we knew very little about the disease at that time last year, and yet the danger of the tourists coming in and spreading the virus, bringing the plague with them from outside and spreading it across the country, laying waste, didn't happen. Did not happen at all. So really then, it's about the vaccine, the faith in the vaccine. You say the vaccine works, we're seeing that the vaccine's working. So therefore, if you've been vaccinated, those like myself who haven't been vaccinated, who are at risk from you coming in, I should be okay because of the herd immunity that's been built up, and also for the fact that by you having the vaccine and check that you have had the vaccine, plus the fact anybody else who may come on holiday who's not been vaccinated, they have been tested and they're going to be tested when they arrive. I think we have done enough to basically so that it is safe for you to come here, and that we are happy to welcome you here as long as you've been tested or you have had the vaccination, because at the end of the day, we need to get open, we need to get our economy back again, and we need the British tourists to come and spend money so that we can get through the next winter that is obviously going to come along. So, in fact, we're not worried about you bringing the virus in. We are not worried in the slightest. Well, I'm not worried anyway. We'll take our chance. And this is what it's about. You take your chance. You've done all that you can. You've taken the vaccine maybe. You're daily testing. What more can you do? You just cannot live cooped up, closed off, and let your economy wither on the vine. You have to take chances. And I'm afraid that's it. We have to take chances. And somebody just sent me a little message. Good morning, I'm coming next month, and sod it. Thank you for that. Anyway, also as well, he did add, he said, you are currently under lockdown controls. Can the authorities allow holidaymakers to enter Zakynthos? I understand the financial benefits that tourism brings. Don't forget, we've been under lockdown, very serious lockdown now, since October. All right, 179 days or whatever it is, you know. Greece has done everything that's been asked of them. We've had a more severe lockdown than what the UK has had. But then again, look at the UK. Your figures now are through the floor. Your infections are through the floor. Your death rate is through the floor. At one point, we were having a higher death rate in Greece than what you are having in the UK. So again, when we look at what's going on with the Johnson administration in the way of the running of the country, you as British citizens have done as what you've been asked to do in compliance with vaccination, etc. Now, we all know people were breaking the rules, people were going out, people felt that some ways your laws and your rules weren't being enforced as effectively, as efficiently as what they are being done in Greece. But at the end of the day, you got your 10,000 deaths or so a day down to virtually nothing. If you look at our figures over the whole of the pandemic, we've had just over 10,000 deaths in the year. You were having that as a daily death rate at one point in the UK. Okay? Our infection rate is 300,000 since it all started. You were having a 300,000 infection rate weekly over in the UK. So therefore, there comes a point where you've got to come out. And now Boris is on about, I'll let the bodies pile up in the streets. What kind of rhetoric is that? What kind of rhetoric does that show? You're saying that basically what you've done has failed, and so you're locking down. You are fined £5,000 for attempting to leave the country. You know, Yeah, I can come to you on a holiday from here and go into Britain. So, you know, what kind of madness is that? Either you're open or you're shut, full stop. And so for us here, we want you to come. You are safe to come here. We look at you as being safe because of the measures you've put in and the fact that you are either vaccinated, you are testing. We're testing you as you come in to make sure. And if you did test positive, you managed to slip through the loophole, or you were one of the exceptions because there are people that can't have the vaccine because of their health. All right, let's not forget about them. People who've maybe decided they don't want the vaccine because they don't feel it's safe for them. All right, they have tested. And again, the false positive thing is again about the tests. If they did manage to test positive here when they arrived in Greece, they will be sent, as last year, to a hotel that is specifically for those people, where they will stay until they're deemed safe then to travel back to wherever they've come from. So again, at the end of the day, it's going to be a risk, a little bit, but for us financially, that will far outweigh what's going on. Did everybody during World War II, after the first bombing of the UK by the Luftwaffe, did everybody decide to chuck in the towel and surrender to the Nazis? No. You just picked yourself up, you dusted yourself off, and you got on with it, and you went back to work. You did your job. Because again, it's for the benefit of everybody that whatever it is that you do, it continues to run. And I looked at now this morning, can I thank those people yesterday who were sending me photographs of their experience of the march in London on the weekend, the march that got no coverage in the mainstream media. The BBC never covered it. And they showed from their perspective of what went on, where reportedly maybe 500,000 people took to the streets in London to protest the lockdown, where the only story that came out was the fact that police were involved in clashes where police were injured. And there was a young girl who put a posting up online this morning. If you go to Lockdown Skeptic, you can see that posting where she was mortified by what happened with the police when they came in. They started trouble against a crowd of people, got pictures and photographs of them retaliating against these people who weren't actually doing anything, got the news footage that they wanted so that the media could turn around and say that, yes, there was a rabble in there that were intent on wrecking what was going on, basically a peaceful protest. And yes, look what's happened. 8 policemen injured. Listen, there's games being played here. Boris at the moment is up to his neck in sleaze and scandal, whether it's about the flat next door, where basically he's had it up, he's had £60,000 spent on having his wallpaper redone. Whether it's Greensill, okay, with David Cameron wanting bailout money to keep that organisation going, so he keeps his shares of £60 million at that value. There is sleaze going on within the Conservative government at the moment that is just bubbling away at the moment. Dominic Cummings has got something on Boris. Boris is sending MI6 in to monitor Dominic Cummings' activities. You just see the whole thing is just going to collapse at some point. Boris is going to go. The Chancellor at the moment is being groomed to become the next Prime Minister. And yeah, that's normally the way it goes. But I'm feeling that Boris probably within the next 3 months is going to be gone. This is my prediction. This is what I think. The sleaze aspect of his activities, and he's not endearing himself to the people because the people are still left in the dark as to what is going on. Okay, you want your holiday, you want to be able to travel, you want to be able to go see grandma, granddad, see vulnerable people in the nursing homes, etc. And again, that is still being denied you by the British government. We want to see you here spending money, getting our economy back up and running. So at the moment, I think we're not worried. I'm personally not worried, and I'll be working with the public every day as soon as we go back to work. I want you here. I want to mix with you. I want you to come in. I want you to have a good time. I want you to go home with a positive experience. And again, we want the financial benefits that you're going to bring to us, and we will give you a good time, and we will take it, and we will see what goes on. You cannot stay closed down, locked down. There's a lot of people who've had a very nice furlough. A lot of people had a very nice 80% of my wages being paid. While I've been sat on my arse at home because it's too dangerous to go back to work, or I've been working online, etc. You know what? Those are the people that are trying to find excuse after excuse for basically things to say stay closed down. So come on, get things open. Boris, make a bloody decision, will you? Let us know where we stand. Let us know so the three boys I met yesterday at the airport know what's going to go on, so they can be ready to say, I still have a job this summer. The people in Athens who get in touch with me and say, should I give my job up in Athens to come back to Zakynthos? Are we going to be having a season this year? Let their minds be set at rest as well, so they know what they can do to organise themselves for the summer. We need you to come, and we need you to be here. All right. So I hope that long rant actually answers your question. Don't worry, I shall look forward to seeing you when you arrive. Brian Cardle is watching as well. Theos Kotis is also watching as well. Nice to see you tuning in, Theo. Brian says, morning, Ginge. Dave Camp says, I've just received 1 dose of the vaccine. The second dose is due on the 1st of June. So you're going to be here, mate. Supposedly 17th of May is when we open here in Greece. Boris should have made his announcement by then. You should be out of your lockdown and you should be able to travel. However, they're talking about COVID passports and that, and things happening in June. We'll wait and see, but we'll see. Hopefully you're here on the 1st of June. Also as well, Mendy Norcliffe is looning it. I'm just going to look at people who've made comments as opposed who's tuning in. Thank you to all those people who are tuning in at the moment. Wiggy Stanley says, I'm still watching, he says. Also, Julie White says 21st is still on from Manchester, though. That's good to read. Rachel Hanson says, sorry I'm late. Don't worry, you can watch me on catch up. Oh yeah, Boothie's tuning in at the moment. Boothie, I hope you're feeling a lot better. He says he's being moved to the Leeds General Infirmary today. I'm so pleased, mate, that you're on the go and you're on the make as well. You're gonna hopefully be okay. Delia Guzzetti is watching. Zanti Pete says, good morning, Ginge. I'm coming next month. Sod the locals. Good on you, mate. Listen, mate, they want to see you. Trust me, they want what's in your pocket. That is for sure. And they'll greet you with open arms when you turn up. As long as you've had the vaccine, as long as you are PCR safe, they will let you go on. And thank you for that. Dave Camp says, thank you, Colin. Totally understand. Love you, bro. Thank you, fella. Emma Marku says, people have to come to Greece. People are losing their businesses and homes. Sadly, there is a bigger picture to this virus. Life is full of risks, and I intend to live life to the full while I'm alive. That is true. There's no point trying to live life once you're in the in the graveyard. She also says as well, you should be mayor, Ginge. Trust me, that is a poison chalice of a job. I've seen how the mayor here come in on a wave of positivity, and all he's had to do is just fight all the way with the, shall we say, the people who've been there far too long. But also as well, you've got to look at it from the UK perspective. You've got people there whose jobs have gone, shops that have closed that are never going to reopen. You've got people who work for like Debenhams now who are being told that they're going back to work for what? For a closing down sale. Now, how galling is that? Imagine you're somebody who's worked at Debenhams for, say, maybe 12, 15, 20 odd years, given some of your best years of your life. You've been told you're being made redundant because the hedge fund that runs that business now has decided to get out of the game. And, oh, by the way, so we can make a bit of a top-up money, we're still going to open up and we're going to do a grand sale of everything to go, a fire sale, and then bang the doors, close up shop, and then disappear away. And this is the problem, all right? The hedge funds that control everything. The market. Oh, we're doing this on the stock exchange. We're doing that on the stock market. But the reality is, you might be doing great on the stocks and shares. But what about the business that supports that business? They're not seeing any of that money. The shareholders are, but the employees aren't. And this is why I was saying about with the tax cuts that are coming here in Greece to make sure that businesses survive. Listen. Don't just use those tax cuts to go out like America did when Trump got into office and he gave that massive tax cut to all the corporations. What did the money go on? Not on building new factories, not on building new infrastructure, not on creating new jobs. It went on buying up stock off the stock exchange that was going cheap so that the business was stronger in the stock market than it was as a real market actually producing stuff. And I've got to laugh. I don't know about you, when you're on your Facebook page or you're on YouTube and all you see is adverts for online trading. And online trading might not be good for everybody. But could you imagine if everybody was online trading? So nobody was going to work and doing a day's work for whatever business it might be that shares are on the stock market for. The world would just stop and it would collapse. So again, it's the balance again coming in at the moment. And that balance is get back to work, start people working, get taxes flowing, get money going back into the system, keep people in jobs. Don't give all the money to the bloody corporations like Amazon, Jeff Bezos and all his cronies, who basically done very nicely out of this crisis. Thank you very much. Zanti Pete says, Boris is disgusting. Imagine the poor families that have lost their loved ones. Let bodies pile high statement. Shocking. Oops. Getting political. Don't worry about that, Pete. I try and avoid getting political, but you just can't help but getting drawn in. Graham Bint from... that's another point. Thank you for tuning in, Graham Bint over in Australia. And thank you to lovely Yanis, who worked for the BBC, who got in touch with me yesterday. Listen, he's been working for the BBC for quite a few years. He's not been furloughed. He's on a 0 hours contract. He doesn't know where things are coming from. And he was at the demonstration over the weekend, and he was reporting to me what he saw of the demonstration. And he was saying that fantastic. There was no problem. Yeah, we were a little bit, my wife, he said, was a little bit anxious. They said they were in Primark at the time. Primark decided to control entry into their store because of the amount of people. But that was just really a security thing. They didn't want people coming in and robbing stuff from the shop. Not that that happened. But the point was this. We got talking about the BBC, about the reporting from the BBC. He said the reporting from the BBC was terrible. He couldn't believe that nobody was showing any interest into what was going on. Sky News, as I said yesterday, went there with an agenda which was basically to show this is Sky UK now. Let's get this clear. Sky UK now went with an agenda which was to show that all these people were marching. They were all either conspiracy theorists, they were freaks, they were hippies, they were Brexiters as well. But where did the best coverage, I feel, came from? Coverage of the actual demonstration came. It came from Australian Sky Television. Australian Sky Television probably gave the most balanced view of this demonstration, about the lockdown and how it's affecting Londoners, about people trying to get back to work, the fact that Britain has got a very low infection rate. Now, at the moment, they've had a fantastic vaccination rollout, and yet they're still being held in lockdown at the moment. And again, it's like, well, hang on a minute. Australia is under a very severe lockdown. they're in a very severe situation where even the news was being censored on Facebook going into the country, and people couldn't get news about what was going on in Australia to the outside world through Facebook because it was all being censored. But the agenda for Sky television in Australia is like, let's get this lockdown up and closed, let's get people back into the streets, which seems to be contrary to the message that UK Sky is giving. So Murdoch's people are playing everybody at the moment. And from my perspective, if I was looking for, shall we say, a good approach to what's happening with lockdown in the UK, I'd be looking at Sky Australia. So go check out Sky Australia on YouTube and their coverage of the lockdown. And I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised at the approach they're taking in comparison to UK Sky's approach. So it's all fun and games of bought media playing one off against the other because of either your donors, your advertisers, or whatever. So I get it. I diverse a bit there. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Listen, I better go. Just one last comment. Totally agree with you, Ginge. I just want my freedom to come. Thank you for that, Trees Around Hugget. Hi, Ginge. He's given me 1961. Thank you very much there, Shane. Thank you for that. I'll find the #1 record on that year. Anyway, listen, I better go. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Sorry the broadcast has been a little bit long. I hope that doesn't put you off watching it on repeat. But anyway, a lot of these comments and views are what I feel. Maybe they aren't in line with what maybe the Greek government is feeling. But on the part of it, we all need to get back to work. We all need to start knowing and start being able to plan. That's something that Jane and I have noticed. We certainly have not been able to plan everything. Why? It's not just in the hands of the Greek government, it's in the hands of the British government as to what their feelings are about people coming, about people going backwards and forwards. So again, we find that in some ways time is running out. And even now, it's not that far off now until what should be the start of the season. But anyway, I will keep my ears to the ground. I'll keep listening out. If I see anything that I think is of relevance to you, don't worry, I will give it to you. And once again, thank you for your support. Please, can you like and subscribe? Yanis John Vazava, nice having you tuning in, fella. Nice talking to you yesterday as well. Just like and subscribe on my YouTube channel as well. I'm amazed at the amount of hits I get. The numbers don't totally reflect the true amount of people it reaches because I'm broadcasting on so many platforms. As a combined number, the numbers are a lot higher than what you probably think they are. And there's a lot of people from all over who get in touch from some very interesting locations about, activities in Greece, what's happening with Zakynthos. And again, I just say this, don't forget, Zakynthos at the moment, Sillavi is the most popular destination for British tourists wanting to go abroad outside of the UK. It's Zakynthos, Sillavi at #1, at #5, it's Laguna, all right? But that's another story. But again, just keep the faith, all right? And again, tune in this afternoon, 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock, requesting inspiration. Just stick them down the bottom there, okay? And I will play them this afternoon for you. And don't forget, I'll be premiering the new video from Opus, Fake or True. That's a great title at this time. That will be premiered as well in that show. And I'll catch you later. You take care. And also, thank you for your comments made. That's Yanis John Sava over there in the UK. Works for the BBC. Thank you, fella. I appreciate that. I'll catch you later. You take care. Ta-ra.